Did you guys feel like Biggie was dissing Tupac on his album?
Which one?
The double CD.
I mean, at the time we were so anti everything that way. I never even heard Life or Death in its entirety. You know what I mean? So I just heard different rumors, and you know what I'm saying, or other fans would tell us like, yo, you know, Pac, Big. I think Big was talking about Pac on a song. I think he had a song called "You're Nobody Till Somebody Kills You." And then years later, I heard he might have been talking about Nas. And then Big had another song called "Niggas Bleed," and you know what I'm saying, What's Beef, and you know these different songs. You know, the rumor mill would start up and say, you know, he's sending bars at Pac, but because he never actually said Pac's name, you know what I mean, we really didn't give it too much energy.
Okay. Would you be surprised about like how many of the fans were just like ready to just, you know, go all out for Tupac? You know?
Would I be surprised?
Yeah, were you surprised about the love? I mean, man, you know, it was my era of music. You know what I'm saying? The Death Row era was like my era of music, man. And people really like, you know, fucked with Pac in a deep way more than like other artists.
Mm-hmm. Nah, I wasn't surprised at that, man, because Pac bared his soul in his music. You know what I mean? He gave you literally pieces of him through his music. And so when an artist does that, it's gonna endear his audience to him. You know what I mean? Most artists give you one perspective of them. They only give you one view. And that's usually their best side. You know what I'm saying? Like someone like, only get my left side. Artists don't want to really show you everything. Pac was rare in that regard. You know what I mean? He's more in the line of a Marvin Gaye and Bob Marley, and you know what I'm saying? Artists that actually bear their fucking soul on record for you. You know, and so it gets, you know, embedded in your brain and in your psyche. You know what I mean? It becomes like a relationship almost. You become like you know this person. You know what I'm saying? Even though you've never met him before, most of the people that I talk to that are major Pac fans always say the same thing, like I felt like I knew him. You know what I mean? I felt like I actually knew that dude. That's because of what he gave you in his music and how deep he was willing to go for your listening pleasure.
Where do you think that came from? Like,
I just think that's who he was. You know what I'm saying? I just think that's who the kind of individual Tupac was. And because he was that kind of individual, his music was going to reflect that.
Okay. Did he ever talk to you about concepts for songs or anything like that? Like before
Yeah,
recording?
we would always talk about all kind of shit. You know what I mean? We would have long, really in-depth, deep conversations about life and about manhood and about what it takes to survive in this world. And a lot of those conversations would eventually turn into songs.
Okay. Were you there when Tupac did the show in Chicago where he had the issues? Where he got mad at the crowd over Yomi Sandoval? I think
that was a long time ago. I don't know if it was in Chicago. I think it might have been in Milwaukee, but it was definitely around that time of the Yomi Sandoval situation.
Can you kind of talk about what happened or take me through it?
Well, yeah, it was a tragic situation where this kid was murdered. You know, he had days prior to him being murdered and his body being found, he was like on a rampage, you know what I mean? I think he had shot a couple people, even might have killed some people. And the hood he was from, the gang he was from or whatever, they felt like he was bringing too much attention to them from law enforcement. So he was eventually murdered. He was a young kid. I think he was like 12, 13 years old. I'm not really sure how old he was, but he was very young. And it affected Pac. You know what I'm saying? Pac took it very hard, you know what I mean? Because he was a kid. He was basically a baby, you know what I'm saying? Grown up, parentless, and was murdered, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, Pac had some words he wanted to share with the crowd at that time, and they weren't nice words. You know You know what I'm saying? It wasn't nice about the shit he was saying. He was very emotional. And some of the people in the crowd wasn't trying to hear that shit. And so it kind of got really bad really quick. And I want to send a shout out to the late great Jam Master Jay, who actually helped us out a lot in that situation, because it wasn't looking good, man. You know what I'm saying? They had came to the hotel, and you know, a lot of people had came to the hotel and they was trying to get up in there, and, you know, they wanted to continue, you know, the bullshit.
Did a fight break out when you guys were on stage? Is that
Not necessarily a fight, man. People started throwing shit on stage. And so we started throwing shit back. You know what I'm saying? We was throwing microphones and Heineken bottles, and they was throwing shit at us, and you know, it got real funky real quick. And then we had to get up out of there because obviously, you know, we was outnumbered. You know what I'm saying? We out of bounds. You know what I'm saying? When this shit pops off. So we had to get the fuck up out of there, but it wasn't as simple as just getting up out of there. You know what I'm saying? And a phone call was made, a couple phone calls was made, and the late great Jam Master Jay was actually largely responsible for us getting up out of there in one piece that day.
Doing all these shows and being on tours with Tupac, man, you know, is there any untold tour stories that you could share before we get up out of here? You know, what's your most memorable time?
Shit, my most memorable time is, you know, getting a chance to actually perform. Because in the beginning, you know, we was just roadies, you know what I'm saying? Like, Pac took us through the whole process in this shit. And so we started out, like, carrying luggage and, you know what I'm saying, and doing shit like that before we even touched the microphone. And then finally, you know, we got a chance to get on the mic and actually, you know, do some performing. And, you know, I just remember being excited because I felt like we was gonna get a chance to contribute. You know what I mean? All I wanted to do was contribute to what was already established and, you know, hold my own weight in this shit, especially with somebody as great as Tupac Shakur.
Do you remember the first time you performed with him?
Ooh, that's a great fucking question, bro. Damn. You making me go back. The first time we performed, it had to be like that summer of '92, you know what I'm saying? I don't even think we performed, like I said, we wasn't privy to touch the mic, but we got to get like be on stage and stand in the back by the DJ, you know what I'm saying? And just actually see the crowd go crazy for this guy when he stepped on stage, you know what I'm saying? That was pretty dope. I think it was a show in Oakland. It was a show in Oakland. He had a show in Oakland, and we went.
Oh, okay, right when you went out there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's what's up, man. Hey, man, I appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you, man.
And dope interview, man. Dope history. You know, just dope, man.
Glad we got it done.
Definitely, man. For sure. All right, bro.
Yep.
What's up? This is Cam Capone. We got more content like this coming soon. So hit that like button, subscribe, and stay locked in to Cam